from the theme park capital of the world, bringing you the latest in theme park news. Welcome to the ThrillGeek Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the ThrillGeek Podcast. I am Clint, and
I'm
Barry.
We're just jamming.
Yeah, it's a vibe. You should create your own intro beat for the podcast with your drum set. That would be pretty cool. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It's been a couple weeks, so we're back, and we got, as usual, some catching up to do here. We're going to talk Disney Cruise Line. We're going to talk some Epic. We're going to talk some Disney. We got a good little mishmash of stuff to talk about, so I think we're going to not waste any time, and we're going to get right into it here. Starting off, and excuse me, pardon me before we get going here, I'm getting over like a head cold, so if at any point I sound like I'm dying, I know. Yeah, you can hear it in me, so I'm going to try my best to get through this recording without sounding like I'm on my deathbed, so bear with me here.
I'm going to try to get through this recording without talking about Lady Gaga, which if you see my timeline, that's about all I'm
You were sharing a lot from that concert of hers.
It was incredible.
That Rio, I mean, the Coachella one that Rio one was insane.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like that before.
Yeah, like the millions of people. Like how many millions of people did they say were there?
It was over two.
Over 2.1 to 2.5 is the estimate. Jeez,
that's insane. And you could see like several of the close-up shots of her. You could see her face, like, and she was just like taken back by it. So, all right, Disney Cruise Line. We got new details about the upcoming Disney Destiny ship that's making its debut later this year. And what's really cool about this ship, I like, and, you know, we're getting the new villain show at Disney's Hollywood Studios here this summer. And Disney's really embracing the villains on this ship as well. And there's going to be different immersive ways for guests to, I guess, encounter some of the Disney villains. Cruella de Vil, which she's going to have her own lounge on the Disney Destiny ship. Dr. Facilier and Maleficent. Those were some of the details they went over when they announced all these new details.
I mean, Cruella's going to host her own fashion runway event.
Show.
Yeah, that sounds like it'll be really cool.
Fashion.
I love the Dr. Facilier representation.
Yeah,
I'm almost shocked by that.
Yeah.
I've always been a huge Dr. Facilier needs more representation stand person, and the little thing that he's going to get, it says he will charm guests in the grand hall with parlor tricks, sleight of hand, and games of chance, where the stakes are mischievously low, but the fun is high. So yeah, no, Janine, I'm with you 100% on that. I've always wanted more. I love Facilier as a villain. He's a villain. But yeah, to see him getting some awesome representation here on the Disney Destiny ship is pretty cool. Then, like I said, Maleficent says she will command the Saga Entertainment Lounge with spellbinding displays of magic. And then it says guests can either admire her powers from afar or dare to approach for a closer encounter with the Mistress of Evil.
When I first saw that, I was like, Sega? Yeah, that's how old Clint and I are.
I know that's showing our. Of course, they still do that. They still do that noise before the game, so that's not showing our age.
You guys are just old. It's not showing your age.
And then they unveiled more merchandise. They have the super character collection, of course, the inaugural collection of all sorts of different types of merchandise.
The logo collection is really pretty.
Yeah.
I know we were talking recently about like other places of debut merchandising, whatever. This is some that I would definitely consider to be prettier than others we've seen.
The button-down shirt, the image of the guy in the button-down shirt and the black baseball cap, that shirt looks really nice.
I love it.
Yeah, that does look pretty cool.
So, and then obviously we got more details about some of the food that you're going to be able to get aboard the ship. I'm not going to go over everything. One of the lounges...
Doctor Strange, inspired by Doctor Strange.
I think that's the one that we have to mention. They're gonna Doctor Strange is going to have his own lounge, Sanctum. It's going to host a range of activities featuring mocktails, cocktails, spirits, and coffee. And then two of the drinks that they unveiled were Circle of the Cosmos and Vapors of Valtor. And then they're going to have some quick bites there. They're going to have stuffed waffles.
Which look delicious.
Waffles. And then they shared some more details about Edna a la Mode Sweets.
Such
which
a
is
good play on words.
a fantastic
play on words. I guess this is the upcharge dessert place.
Yeah, this is the place aboard like all the other ships that have the place where you can buy ice cream and you can buy cupcakes and you can buy all sorts of novelty little sweet treats as well.
Me always. I'm not paying extra.
Yeah, and then they shared some more details about Pride Lands. Excuse me, Feast of the Lion King. I'm super excited about this dinner show. It's great to see the Lion King getting some representation on the ships. They went over some of the menu items. There's going to be Nala's roasted pork tenderloin.
That looks pretty good.
Pan-seared, is that Burberry? Burberry?
Yeah.
Spice roasted chicken. Cape Malay shrimp curry. Heirloom tomato kachumbari. Pineapple upside-down cake, and warm chocolate malva pudding.
I can't wait to hopefully one day try the Can You Feel the Rum Tonight?
That made me laugh so hard the first time.
I saw the name for that drink and I was like, perfect naming, Disney. And then the other drink, I think this is going to be the mocktail, is the Slimy Yet Satisfying, which is perfect. I saw that and I was like, bravo, Disney. And then like we said, Cruella is going to have her own lounge on the ship called DeVille's. They announced some of the drinks. One of the drinks is going to be the Fashionista, which is
yes to all those things.
Yeah, this sounds really interesting. It's freeze-dried strawberry and banana-infused Patron tequila with banana liqueur, agave nectar, and fresh lime juice, clarified with milk and chilled, served with strawberry shortcake popcorn. Yeah, and then last but not least, we got a new concept artwork piece for the Disney Hercules musical, which I am so excited that Hercules is getting a musical.
Hercules representation.
Yeah, there's some really cool new things that Disney's bringing to this ship, and this concept artwork with what's the name of that creature?
The Hydra.
Hydra.
And it's going to be
Thank you.
puppets.
Yeah, and then the show will feature live renditions of classic songs from the movie Go the Distance, Zero to Hero, I Won't Say I'm in Love. But what's really cool is the show will also debut a ballad of Shooting Star, which was written by Alan Menken and David Zappel for the movie, but it never made it to the movie. So that's going to be really cool.
I'll be interested to see if that's going to be in the stage musical that's going to be debuting in London's West End.
Oh, so they are doing a musical, like a...
Yeah, I think it's, unless I'm wrong.
Yeah.
It's debuting in the West End first before Broadway.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm hopefully it tours because I love Hercules. It's one of my
years from now.
Yeah. And then of course the Disney Destiny ship makes its maiden voyage on November 20th. So those are just some of the new details. We have everything up on ThrillGeek.com if you guys want to check them out. Some of the pictures of the food items are really great and everything if you want to check those out. All right. Moving on, Barry, you got to go to SeaWorld, Orlando.
I did.
And check out the new Expedition Odyssey attraction. And following off of Janine's hard hat tour, the floor is yours. What did you think of Expedition Odyssey?
I enjoyed it. There definitely is still some things that I'm assuming they're still working on.
Mm-hmm.
As far as the projectors and... because the flying parts, the projection was a little jittery.
Mm-hmm.
But the highlight was when you get to the animals, like the walruses, the sea seals,
mm-hmm.
the orcas, polar bears, and you were so close to the animals.
So you're talking about the part after the ride?
No, I'm talking about...
this is during...
During the ride, you're not just flying past glaciers. You're getting up close with polar bears, with all the different Arctic animals.
Okay.
And that, to me, was the most impressive part of it, because because of the drones' ability to get so close.
To get really close to the animals,
and actually get close to the animals, not like most of the like Planet Earth stuff, where they're shooting with a
massive zoom lens.
They're able to get up close, and those image parts of the attraction were stunning.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm hoping, there's some things that still need to be, ironed out with it. But on the other hand, it's 39 inches is the height limit. SeaWorld needs it. SeaWorld has needed a good family attraction that most of the entire family can go on, and I think that's provided that. to me, the biggest thing out of it is the update to the Arctic habitat.
Yeah, because they updated that too, right?
For the most part, looks brand new.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
They still kept most of the theming that was already in there. I think they added a few things, but it's just nice to see the habitats. They had one of the beluga whales was out. The penguins, who are not from Arctic, are not Arctic, but I think what the penguins in there are like the South American penguins.
Yeah.
They were out. The walruses were not out, but it looked brand new. Everything had been we got to see during the construction. Everything was being scrubbed down, repainted. The beluga whale, I believe, their tank. I think they actually did stuff to make it. I guess they updated some parts of the tank to give it a better. I don't know if give them more room, but I think they removed some things.
Like they modified the insides of the tanks, yeah.
Tanks some.
Okay.
Yeah.
So everything looks brand new in there. And then the biggest difference is the gift shop. The gift shop was completely redone.
Yeah, because that gift shop before was kind of lame.
Yeah,
And it took
it's
whatever
no
was going on,
longer
they
it's
just
no longer the
cohesively.
clearance shop. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, it was
I
like
don't
the
know where
outlet.
where they've moved that to. It's now, there was a bunch of, as you'll see in the video on ThrillGeek Studio. There's a bunch of new merchandise for Expedition Odyssey, and then the shop was filled with the usual SeaWorld shop merchandise.
Yeah.
But the gift shop looks great. So everything is refreshed and new. Looks great. Like I said, hopefully they were still doing some fine tuning with the attraction. I'm hoping so. But it's a different type of flying theater than any of the other ones around here. So
Yeah.
I think it's a perfect addition to the park. I mean, yes, would we all want Sesame Street Dark Ride? Yes.
But we needed something.
Yeah.
When it comes down to that location, I guess it's just called Expedition Odyssey now.
The whole
I'm
area.
assuming the area is still called Wild Arctic, but when they say the habitat, they just call it the Arctic habitat.
Gotcha.
You can skip the attraction and go straight to the habitat. And this attraction does have quick queue too. I just think I'm glad they kept the habitat, because if they would have gotten rid of it, I think we would have lost the beluga whales permanently. They would have sent them to Texas. So I think it's still not the ideal habitat for the belugas that are here, but it's what they have. I'm glad the habitat's been refreshed. It looks brand new. That to me is almost more important than the actual attraction itself.
Yeah. Janine, anything you wanted to chime in since you went to the hard hat tour?
I mean, being able to see like the screen and everything up close, and then hearing from Barry and like just seeing some of like the things that have come from the past holder previews that people have been mentioning is really interesting. Like that everything's kind of all come together.
Yeah.
I know for me too, being able to go backstage and then go into where they were refurbing the habitats was the most exciting part.
Yeah.
Because I know from going when I was little, seeing like the beluga, sometimes the animals get a little bit bored, and so like being able to see them refresh the habitat and be able to like build that out better and make it even nicer, I think is something that I'm really excited to see what it looks like. Most people know like my favorite movie, like horror movie, is The Thing from 1982, and so like that whole like even though it's like different sides of the world, it's like that whole vibe like is something I've always enjoyed since I was an itty bitty, and so I'm excited to see what they've done with it.
And I hadn't been like in there with the animals in a while.
Yeah.
And I was like, when with the belugas, the underwater area is the best part, and the beluga that was out was like just stopping and coming up to me at the window and everything, and
that's cool.
And that's the cool moments. Whatever your feelings are about SeaWorld, I mean, I always put it this way, that the animals there are ambassadors. They are giving us a chance to see them up close, and so we will be better about taking care of the ocean itself.
Yeah.
And SeaWorld has rescued more animals than any other organization, more aquatic animals. So it's that's how I look at it, and I'm not going to get that experience anywhere else.
Moving on, Epic Universe. Things have continued to chug along here with previews since we last did the podcast episode. They've opened up previews to pretty much everybody now.
It's open previews now, yeah.
Yeah. Whereas when it started, it was obviously team members, and then pass holders, and hotel guests, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
But no, I mean, it didn't surprise me. They weren't getting enough people in, especially on the weekdays. And I'm sure they looked at, the hotel guests, the Universal Hotel guests come, but, people who are already in town who are staying in other places couldn't come. And I think they realized, just open it up. Yeah, I think the only real controversy is the pricing of the tickets. It is a technical rehearsal. They tell you that. There's signs up everywhere. They tell you that when you buy the ticket. Most people obviously don't read things when they buy tickets.
Yeah.
But I think that was the only thing. And, I mean, even we were a little shocked with the price. They were pretty much pricing it almost regular price, which they didn't do. I mean, I realized Islands opened up a long time ago, 26 years ago.
Yeah.
I think if they had priced these preview tickets at $80 to $100, I don't think you'd be hearing the complaints that you're hearing. But when people are paying $140, after tax, $150 for some of these days, I can understand why people are upset a little. The park is having teething problems, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, this week's been especially rough. I've been noticing online. We went with the kids, 2 weeks ago? And we got super lucky. We got on everything.
Yeah.
It was a great day. But like you said, the park is in a technical rehearsal, so there could be one day where everything is running great, and then the next day,
But, it's awesome that they opened up all of these previews. But, I mean, I understand, if you were someone who came in from out of town and you show up and, you get, evac'd off of multiple rides or multiple things are closed. But, again, when I was on Ministry, I almost thought I wasn't going to be able to ride because I did child swap with somebody. So I took my little, who I've got a 3-minute video of her and Toothless, and that is the greatest joy that I will ever have. But I was waiting, everything came on, but we still got to ride. But, I think the biggest TLDR from, my perspective is just be kind.
Yeah.
Team members, they are doing the absolute best they can. They're trying really hard. And it's like anything. It is a park of massive scale. It's going to have growing pains.
Yeah.
Just be patient, be kind. I understand we're paying for things, but I think there's also, just from hearing from rumors, there's some things going on that these are some of the most technologically advanced rides Universal's ever done. There's going to be issues. So let them work through it, get their sea legs under them, and then hopefully, I mean, we're just a few weeks away from actual opening.
Yeah.
Let them figure it out.
It seems like they're taking a ride down each day. It's starting to look like, to give it a once over.
Yeah.
Because they took down Minecart yesterday.
Today was Curse of the Werewolf.
Today was Werewolf. I will say I have friends who were there yesterday. From all reports, was one of the worst days. They've had in that park.
My wife was there yesterday, Cheryl, and
she that there were gigantic lines at guest services at the end of the night, and they were comping. They were giving out comp tickets.
Which, in her defense, she wanted to go. She wanted a day with no kids, and she just wanted to walk around and enjoy the park. I was like, well, you got that.
Yep.
Because there was nothing open.
Yeah.
Next to nothing open.
It is a roll of the dice. I mean, the time that myself and Sin went luckily it was team member preview. I think it was one of the last days of team member preview. We only got on 3 attractions that day.
Yeah.
Because everything had a quarter to a third of the park was down the entire day.
Yeah.
We only got on, Monsters was open for, I think, 45 minutes the entire day. And the only reason we got on it was because we just happened to be right out front when they opened it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And with someone, the team member brought us had an AAP pass, so we were able to go through Express, because I don't know if we had gone in the standby line, if we would have made it onto the attraction. But we also didn't have to pay, so we were cool with vibing,
whatever.
Going through. We went through every single, stuff we didn't get to do at the preview, and we went through every single shop in the entire park.
That's my friend and my goal with food this weekend. Do we want to do some rides? Sure. I know she's extremely disappointed that Ministry will be down because she hasn't done it yet, but it's also one of those, I know she's going to get sick. So it's one of it will be an end of day type of thing on a day when she's prepared to not feel well. But we just want to go and look at food and go to the shops and find all the new How to Train Your Dragon merch, because I don't have enough. And if you're watching the video version, I've got my Toothless blanket on me right now.
Well, it's like even in that day where we only got to ride 3 rides, we didn't get to see
so much stuff.
We didn't get to see any of the almost none of the walk around characters and entertainment in Burke, because you had to be at the right place at the right time sometimes, and it was the same way during the media preview. We got to meet Toothless, but we didn't get to see any. We saw Astra, we didn't get to see anybody else.
Yeah.
During our time there, so it's like there's so much in that park. Walk around character wise alone.
Mm-hmm.
We've already said this park is a 2-day park minimum.
It is.
But it's there's so much to do there. It's not just about the attractions. It'll be interesting to see that they have already increased the hours at least the first week until 10.
Which it's a park for the nighttime.
That's why they put in all this nighttime lighting.
Absolutely beautiful.
So. Speaking of the park at night, we actually, when we were there with the kids, for those of you that saw, we spoiled our kids and we stayed at the How to Train Your Dragon suite at Helios. And it was really cool because that night we got to go, we ended the night at the front of the park because the kids hadn't seen Kronos or anything of that front area of the park. So we ended the night there because we were walking on the gift shop and stuff. And we walked up to the security guard and we were like, are we going to have to take a bus back to Helios or can we walk back? Because they had already done their security sweep. And the security guard was like, no, since you guys are staying at Helios, we just need to see your hotel key. Mm-hmm. And you're able to walk back to Helios in a completely empty Epic universe. I was like, cool. This is fantastic.
That's really cool.
We finished our shopping and stuff, and, we're walking back to Helios, and we're just taking all the pictures of the portal. I mean, obviously the park's closed, so you can't go into individual portals, but we got some really cool pictures of Celestial Park and the portals.
You're like Wayne and Garth holding up your, credentials.
Yeah. Well, what they do, I guess, with the sweep is they go from they go from Helios to the front of the park, and then they go from the front of the park back to Helios. So, but anyways, that was really cool to be able to walk back in a virtually empty Celestial Park. But Helios itself, the How to Train Your Dragon suite, you simply put, you are paying for the view of this room, which is undoubtedly, if not the best theme park view you will ever get in a hotel room. There's no picture or video or any kind of content that will do this view justice that you get from the park view rooms at Helios.
No, I mean, when we got to do the preview, I mean, it's like I took video and pictures, but it's like it doesn't compute. You're just like, I mean, I remember because I can't remember, when I walked into Helios and saw that view for the first time, it's like my hair on my arm just went.
Yeah.
That's how jaw-dropping a view.
When we were staying there in the How to Train Your Dragon suite, the curtains are motorized, and I would just sit there and open and close the curtains, open and close the curtains. I was like, yeah, I'm never getting over this view. But the How to Train Your Dragon suite is cute. The only issue I had with the room is there were a lot of bare walls. And I wish they had some sort of How to Train Your Dragon concept artwork, or
you just wanted a dragon flying out of the wall.
I just wanted Toothless coming at me and tackling me.
Yeah, I stayed a couple weeks ago in a park view because I'm just like, I want to see it. It looks like it'll be cool. Yeah. Why not? I'll just blow my money.
As if we haven't already.
I'm just letting a friend of mine blow her money, and then I'll go visit her room.
Universal's taken so much of my money at this point. I'm very grateful to people who are able to get me discounts on merch and things. But I just walking into the room.
We buy stupid stuff here at ThrillGeek. Stupid stuff.
You two buy stupid stuff.
Oh wait, hold
I only
on.
buy stuff that I'll actually
my Dark
wear.
Universe mug, and then my Captain Cacao cup, and but walking into that room, I was like, oh, this is pretty. This feels like a standard Marriott in a large city. Yeah. And then I was like, oh, the art looks pretty. There's not that much of it. And then my one complaint, which I know is such a first world problem complaint, was the room that I stayed in did not have double sinks. Yeah. And it's like, if you've got multiple people staying, that's just something for me that I'm like, I feel like design-wise, they could have, but the rooms are so small.
You got to spend $1,000 a night on the How to Train Your Dragon suite, Janine, if you want 2 sinks. Sorry.
Do I get dragons, dragon spouts with the water to come out?
I'm sorry, no. No.
And again, I know that this is such an entitled first world problem, but I'm putting my stuff out, and I'm just like, if my kid was there with me, the stuff would be on the floor.
Yeah. But
I mean, it's the discussion we've had before, and yes, it is a deluxe hotel. Yes, you're paying for location.
Yeah.
You know, it's
the early entry was fantastic. Let me talk about that. The early entry was fantastic. You literally go down the elevator from your room, and security checkpoint is right there. And then you go down this little winding trail, and you're in Celestial Park. And then the only things that were open for early entry were Super Nintendo World and Stardust. And we obviously bum rushed Donkey Kong because with that ride, you don't know if it's going to be up or not. So we did that, but
that seems to be a lot of people bum rushing Donkey Kong and then immediately running over to Dark Universe.
To
wait for the portal.
That's exactly what we did. We got on Donkey Kong, and Mario Kart was already like a 90-minute wait. So we said, no, let's go over to Dark Universe. And it was like 10:45, and we hung around there until 11 o'clock, and we made a beeline to Unchained. So
and one final thing when we're talking about Unchained, if you are cool with going through single rider, did single rider 3 times in a row, two times in a row, I don't remember. But they let you just basically like loop back around. You don't get to see the theming, but it took no more than 5 minutes each time. They were grouped, like, I know this is during previews, but like the way that it was working, they were being able to group like 2 of us in cars and things, just based on like sizing and everything because of how it's on like that kind of conveyor. It worked out extremely well. So if you're cool with splitting your party, it's not a bad option. It went really, really fast, and
I think I've seen some people online, like on the days it was running really good, like they did single rider like 10, 15 times.
I would get so nauseous.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think like it's one of those ones where I think, you know, especially the beginning, single rider is not going to be very much used because people are wanting to go through the whole queue and everything.
Which is amazing. Yeah, the queue is amazing.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, once you get that experience, I think it's like if you want to ride it again that day and you don't mind splitting up your party, that's the way to go. It's like the hype. I mean, we were already hype, but the hype is getting a little bit more up here where we're like, this thing's actually happening now.
Yeah, it's still surreal that the park's opening up in a matter of weeks. I mean, you know, we've been watching this park grow and be built over the last how many years? So, you know, the fact that we're 2 weeks away from this thing grand opening is pretty unreal.
So get ready for our amazing videos where both Clint and I are crying a lot.
Crying a lot. Wait a second. What? I didn't sign up for this. Yeah, so make sure you guys obviously are following us across all of our social media channels. You're subscribed to the ThrillGeek Studio YouTube channel because Barry and I are brainstorming some fun videos to film over there while we're over there for the media preview and all that stuff. So
we will be sleep deprived for your enjoyment.
For your viewing pleasures. All right. Moving on, we got some other Universal news that we're going to quick talk about. Volcano Bay. Universal announced some changes to Volcano Bay. First off, they announced that Volcano Bay will be closing seasonally starting October 26th for 5 months until they said on or before March 24th, 2027. Obviously, that's not this year, so if you're already...
Birthday party for me next year.
Right.
We'll be there March 26th.
So the park will be down for a solid 5 months as they obviously go through and do a really good, I guess, refurbishment of a lot of the things. And
it is due.
Yeah.
Unlike the other, well, no, Aquatica doesn't. I mean, Aquatica goes down to 2 days a week, like almost like half the year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the Disney parks, water parks actually shut down for months. Refurb, repaint, a lot of things. I don't think the wave pool hasn't been drained since it opened, so that is a big thing.
Yeah.
Most water parks around the country, the wave pool gets drained out every year.
The other news that they announced is the Tapu Tapu, the virtual line watch wrist thing that you get when you go to Volcano Bay, will be retired starting October 1st of this year, 2025.
Very soon.
What do you think? What do you guys think this was all about?
So
it's just not worth it. It's just not.
I mean, I've got opinions about it from going.
Yeah.
So my first time ever Volcano Bay, we get the tapus. Cool. I'm like, this is great. we tapped into Krakatoa, I'm pretty sure I pronounced it, whatever.
Yeah.
To the coaster, the water coaster.
Yeah, the
And
water
it's like,
coaster.
Oh, it's a 3-hour wait. And we're like, okay, cool. And I was like, I thought that if like, I didn't do enough research on it, but I thought based on the fact that that line was so long that I might be able to go and tap into something else that had like a shorter wait.
Yeah.
No. So basically it turned into anything that said ride now we went on, which were some of the bigger slides, like the body slides were out of it. Someone in our group went and rode something by themselves because nobody else in the group could, because we split it since we had a kiddo with us of like 3 of us were going to do the coaster, one was going to wait, and then they were going to tap in. Like they tapped in like a little bit later so that we didn't have the times go at the exact same time. They did eventually get to ride, but it was like hours and hours later. But there was one point where we're meandering around the park and we're like, we can go to the kids area, we can go to the wave pool, we can go to like the river.
Yeah.
That's it.
It.
We couldn't do anything else because everything had, some of them even had like just 10-minute waits and you couldn't tap in or do anything.
Yeah.
I understand why they did it. I think that there was a lot of kinks that they could have worked out, but it's probably consumer behavior and people being upset.
I think it's
being able
that.
to
I know based on someone who used to work at guest service there, it was their biggest issue every day.
Yeah.
Getting a payment, because you're supposed to pay with it too, and payment not working properly.
Yeah.
I know they tested, I think, like wristbands, payment wristbands.
Yeah.
Or something, which they'll probably go to. It's also Tapu Tapu is a licensed technology, and maybe they decide they don't want to pay for the license.
They don't want to pay for it anymore. Yeah.
Krakatoa is going to be the biggest issue because the line for that attraction is not long enough to handle people waiting for it from everything that someone's told. So I don't know if that's going to get some sort of return time thing.
I was going to say maybe they'll do a virtual queue just for that.
Tapu Tapu, they never built the expansion of that park that they said they were going to build.
Yeah.
That whole area that's
the back
where
corner.
They basically store stuff. I'm hoping maybe finally they'll build the phase 2 because the park needs it.
Yeah.
It needs some more slides. I mean, we knock Aquatica because they still never built a water coaster there, but Aquatica has a ton of slides.
Yeah.
Itty bitty lazy river, tons of slides.
Yeah.
So it's that park needs an expansion if they want to continue it to be successful.
There were a lot of people saying like, "Oh, you could do the expansion in the 5-month closure." I was like, "No,
That's not.
No.
that's not going to happen."
The hope is they get the everything refurbed up to shape to the point that they seem to constantly having to be spent time. It's a water park.
Yeah.
Water destroys things. Chlorinated water, things get, also it's next to I-4, so things get dirty.
Yeah.
So it's the hope to me is get the park completely refurbed and hopefully now finally do that expansion. You've added another park. You've added how many more hotel rooms?
Yeah.
So the demand for that water park is going to be higher.
Yep.
And I think
so, and it really is. I mean, it's not that much bigger than Blizzard Beach. That's a whole other. I want to talk about a park that needs more slides.
It feels bigger though. I feel like just because of like the big volcano.
Yeah.
But
it needs an expansion.
It needs more. I think that from the guest services perspective and people being able to go and actually like utilize the water park like a water park will be better. However, you're then going to get the same people who are complaining about the Tapu being like, well, now I have to stand in the sun and this, like, water parks are just challenging.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't, I've never had the annual pass with Volcano Bay. I think I've only been to Volcano Bay like once or twice. So, we have SeaWorld Aquatica passes. So whenever we want a water park, we just go to Aquatica. No, we have all those details up on ThrillGeek.com about the Tapu Tapu going away and the closure date. So if you guys want to check that out, you can. Moving on over to Walt Disney World, we got some new details about the Beak and Barrel, which is now the name. We know the name of the, they're calling it Disney's calling it a hangout. The Beak and Barrel is tavern, Pirates of the Caribbean inspired tavern coming soon to the Magic Kingdom.
I think that my favorite part is the fact that there's going to be a little mascot. He's a little bird.
Yeah.
Rummy the Barker bird.
Rummy the Barker bird.
Say, they're basically bringing the Barker bird.
They're bringing the Barker bird back.
Who used to be outside the Pirates of the Caribbean attraction.
Never should have taken away.
And then the two areas of the lounge, bar, whatever you want to call it, are called the Mess and Captain's Quarters. So, yeah, we have all those details up on ThrillGeek.com. I'm not going to get into them too much.
No, I mean rum-based drinks, yay.
It's pirates. God, where's the rum?
Pirates, it's going to be a pain in the ass to get into in the beginning. There is a 45-minute time limit. Which is probably good with rum-based drinks.
I was gonna say you're not gonna need longer than 45 minutes to throw back some.
You knock down 2 rum-based drinks.
You're good to go.
You're good to go.
But we have all those details up on ThrillGeek.com. Some concept artwork and all that jazz. The logo, the Barker Rumby, the Barker bird. We have a picture of him up there as well. We're wrapping up with this. Disney announced a new theme park resort coming to Abu Dhabi. As Barry was just saying, this announcement came out of left field. I don't think anybody saw this coming.
No.
I stay pretty up to snuff on some of the rumors and stuff. I know there was talk about a Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Disney something, but nothing this concrete. And we got the announcement yesterday, completely out of left field. Abu Dhabi, Disney.
Yeah.
They're calling it. They're calling it. Aren't they calling it Disneyland Abu Dhabi? The name of it.
Something like. I mean, it is basically a licensing deal.
Yeah.
Because it's not being built by Disney. It's being built by Mural.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Who run?
They also.
Yas Island.
Yeah.
This is, I think the shocking thing is if you ever didn't think Disney is basically like every other company now,
They like money.
This is them being like every other company now. They're basically, here's a bunch of money. Well, and license. I mean, I'm sure. I would hope. It's probably not going to be as strict as Tokyo Disneyland's licensing agreement, but I would hope there's still going to be certain standards to adhere to. You know, whether or not this is going to be, they have a better agreement where, you know, you guys are going to pay for these attractions, but, you know, after, like, I don't know, I know Tokyo's exclusivity is a lot longer. Like, after a year, we can take this same technology and put it into any of our other parks. I think Tokyo's is like, I think it's like a 5-year or something.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the other parks that are there.
What, there's Warner Brothers, Ferrari World.
SeaWorld's
They look stunning, but they also look sort of bland.
Yeah.
This will be interesting because, you know, almost everything will be indoors because it's the desert.
That's what I said on Twitter yesterday. I said, I don't think people are, you know, this isn't going to be your traditional Disneyland Magic Kingdom with Main Street. I have a feeling this is going to be something completely like we've never seen before with a Disney park.
The weird concept for the glass castle
very
just looks like a lot of the other stuff, architecture in that region.
Yeah.
It's all concept art. This seems to have come together fairly.
Yeah, it's very rough concept artwork. Like, you can't really make out. I swear I saw something that looked like Tron in the concept artwork. That was the only thing that I could really make out.
We're talking about a park that, you know, unless we're almost, all three of us are probably never going to set foot in this park. Unless for some reason we get invited to them, they fly us out for the media event.
I'd prioritize. I mean, I know one of the cool facts was it's like for a third of the world's population, it's within a 4-hour flight, which makes you realize like how population dense.
There are a lot of Europeans that do go.
Yes.
To Abu Dhabi, Dubai.
There was a number. Somebody said the number of how many people are pass through Abu Dhabi, Dubai, and it was like 120 million or something like that. Some astronomical number.
It is a major. I believe it is now a major airline hub.
Now
you fly there and then you fly to
for other connecting flights and stuff.
Like India or any other parts of Asia. You connect from there. That's it's like an option now instead of like flying to LA and then LA to wherever you. It's pretty much the connecting option in many cases, or you fly to London and you London to Dubai and Dubai to wherever.
It's definitely not something I think any of us were expecting, and it'll be interesting to see how it all kind of parses itself out, especially since Disney's not actually building it.
Yeah. I mean, it's. I think we weren't expecting because we never expect Disney would do something like this.
No.
Yeah.
They would never license. You know, if anything, I think people expected a park in Brazil. Yeah. Or I say Brazil. People always mention Australia. Australia does not have the population to like. I would expect I would expect a park in Singapore. Yes,
Yeah.
Universal's already there. But Australia does not have the population to do a full-blown Disney.
I was going to ask that because, obviously when this was announced yesterday, it was dissected and discussed, obviously with the LGBTQIA community, with what goes on in Abu Dhabi and everything, it was discussed every which way. And
if it just falls under one of those things like how much money is enough. It's the same thing with like what Saudi Arabia's soccer league.
Yeah.
That's lured all these major stars there, or like, Live Golf now merging, which the Saudis started, now merging with PGA. We're now in a time where money counts over anything.
Yeah.
Everything. I like I said, we're trying to avoid getting crazy political about it, but money. We're just in an era now where money goes first, and that's it.
It's an interesting decision, but yes, it's very much a financially backed decision.
Yeah.
And it's also, there's no guarantee this park's ever going to get built.
Yeah.
Because how many agreements were
over there?
There was a Universal Studios.
That was in
there has been tons of agreements over there was supposed to be a SeaWorld.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's tons of agreements over the years that have
fallen apart. Yeah.
Six Flags have fallen apart. So we'll see if this happens at all.
Yeah.
But until you see, I don't even say actual construction, until you see full-blown buildings going up, and even that's not a guarantee. Until you see all that happening, there are no guarantees for a project like this. So.
Yeah. No, there's been a lot of discussion about this park, like I said, and everybody's got an opinion on it, and I've tried to really digest and understand people's opinions on it because I found it all very interesting. Mm-hmm. And I'm the type of person to where I want to understand everybody's opinion on it. And the uproar and the conversations that were happening from this park were all really interesting. And, I know you said, Barry, we really don't want to get into the politics of it, but I learned a lot about what goes on in Dubai. And a big thing with me is, if this thing gets built, I'm not going to force anybody to go to it. But I'm also not going to judge people for going to it. That was kind of the mindset I had with it. But yeah, we have all the details up on ThrillGeek.com about this new Disney theme park resort coming to Abu Dhabi. There weren't very many specific details announced, like we were saying, so we really can't dive into lands and everything. Just these few really scratchy pieces of concept artwork were unveiled. So we'll have to wait and see.
I'm just shocked Disney didn't do this Monday of Epic Grand Opening.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
That's what I was saying. I was like, why didn't we do this like a day before Epic
I'm sure
opening?
This is all about stuff came together and they just did it.
They're just enjoy a press release.
Yeah, they did it. They did a drone show for the unveiling.
That's
they also
a thing now.
They also unveiled a Mickey Mouse Epic Universe portal. Did you see that? That was fantastic.
I giggled.
Yeah.
When I posted that. But yeah, we have all these details up on ThrillGeek.com. I really appreciated everybody's input on this. I watched so many TikToks about people's opinions on this park and Disney's decision on it. So yeah, keep them coming because it was really fascinating and a learning experience for me to see different people's perspectives on this park, on this Abu Dhabi announcement from Disney. So,
and we'll talk about again how many years from now.
How many years
if
later?
It starts.
Yeah. So, but all right.
It's funny. Like later, they were like, "Well, we don't really have a timeline."
We're like, "It's coming."
Yeah, I think they. What was it? Was it CNBC that Iger was on? I think it was. I really want to watch that interview because apparently he says some interesting stuff about it. But I think it was CNBC that Iger did an interview on about the announcement. So
I think he did emphasize, though, we're still investing all this money in the U.S. parks.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, we'll see that too when we see.
Yeah. So, but anyways, guys, that's it for this episode. I got to get on out of here. Like I said, I'm getting over this chest cold and my voice is about shot. So.
And taking the sleep when we can before Epic.
Yes. Like I said, make sure you guys are following across all of our social media accounts. Give us that subscribe on the Thrill Geek Studio YouTube channel.
Speaking of that, please go there. Watch our new Juan video where the three of us roam around Diagon Alley. This video is probably the best one we've done in
Probably the most fun too.
It was so
The most fun. We've been trying to capture the chaotic, goofy, sibling-like energy that when all three of us are together at the same time.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
And I think it captured that. And also, it just wasn't. All three of us shot the video. All three of us were directing each other. All three of us were tossing ideas out as we were doing the video.
We also learned Barry's really bad with wands.
Yes. You two also had the newer, better wands, while I was with a first generation wand that, on the other hand, I didn't pay for. So
yeah, you can't complain too much.
No, I can't complain too much.
This looks like enchanted oak. We buy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, our videos have always been fun. New stuff, we know we got to be fun, informative. We got to ride that line. But on older stuff, on some of these adventures where we go off and do things, they're going to be more goofy. We're going to go more goofy. On those videos.
Yeah.
It's like everyone knows about the wands, but I'd never really done it before, so it's like
I don't think any of us have really dove into the wand lore or the wand experiences in any of the Potter expansions. So this was like a learning experience for us as well. So yeah, make sure you guys check that video out. And we have some other videos up there too. We have my Epic Universe preview video. I did upload a video of a room tour of the How to Train Your Dragon suite that I was talking about, so be sure to check that out. And I still am uploading stuff to the regular ThrillGeek channel. I have some of the stuff from, the Universal Studios Fan Fest from over there at Hollywood, which I do need to get Greg on because he wants to come on and talk about that. Maybe I can do a bonus podcast episode with him.
And we promise we will get back to Disney.
Yeah,
we actually do need to shoot a Disney video. So
yeah, we'll get back there.
Your timeline is about to be overloaded with epic stuff.
Yeah. So, but we will definitely get back to Disney, maybe shoot some videos over there, and then it's going to be epic overload with the grand opening and all that jazz. So,
and then Disney.
And then
Janine, did you want to plug any of your socials before we get on out of here as usual?
Yeah, you can follow me at Scream Queen J9. I post a lot of memes. Yay! And things about Toothless and about the fact that this is a whole other conversation. We don't have any Halloween Horror Nights announcements yet, and I'm going crazy.
Dragons. All the dragons.
Dragons.
All the dragons. Barry?
At Culture and Thrills on all social media platforms. You'll see me post a lot about Lady Gaga. And this is look, we had to deal with 2 years of so many people we know posting nothing but Taylor Swift every day.
You know who you are.
You know who you are.
Yeah, also, shameless
Let me
plug.
be excited about Ghost and Lady Gaga and
Bad Omens.
And Baby Metal.
Bad Omens.
You guys can follow me at IMCG on Twitter and Instagram and all that jazz. But like I said, make sure you're following ThrillGeek everywhere. You're subscribed to the ThrillGeek Studio YouTube channel. If you're watching the ThrillGeek Studio, if you're watching the ThrillGeek podcast on the ThrillGeek Studio YouTube channel, make sure you like all of our videos. It helps us grow, helps us reach more people.
Subscribe. We're getting close. We need to get to 500.
We're getting there. Baby steps. So
people subscribe.
Yeah. So, all right, guys, take care, be safe, and we will see you guys probably. Our next episode will probably be Epic Universe, probably.
Yeah.
What do you think? Yeah? Probably our review, because we did our initial reaction, so I think the next one will be Epic Universe. Anyways.
We're going to have a bunch of stuff to talk about because Janine will be going to Disney.
Yeah.
We literally do Epic, 2 or 3 day break. Janine... Because we'll be dead. Janine will be going to Disney.
Yeah.
for the villain show and Little Mermaid. And
yeah, that's coming up.
Fun
really
little things
soon.
that they've got planned for this summer.
So yeah, look for all that stuff. We got lots coming. Summer's here. Yeah. Take care, be safe, and we'll see you guys on the next episode.
Bye, guys.
See you in the parks.
Bye.